Hello, everybody. It's Dusty Sage here at the Disneyland Resort. And this is a strange spot. I'll tell you all about it in just a second. But I am joined today by this lug, Mike Kindrich, and we are going to walk you all the way through Disneyland and downtown Disney today. There's a lot to see. It's a new year, and that means a new do. And a new look at the parks, what is coming in 2024. We also have with us today some friends with us there. Suzanne is going to be master of knowledge for us today, so she's going to watch your questions and let us know if there's anything important, and she will be kicking in with some info on the dates that certain things are starting as we move along. I'm going to use my finger to turn this around. And right over here is one of the very first things that we're looking at. This building is called the Parkside Market. Parkside Market will have a number of restaurants and coffee shops in it. And then back here in that open space, we believe is where Earl of Sandwich will go. And then there's another bar with a rooftop deck that will be back there as well. You can see that over here, there's a little covered seating area. That's for all of those marketplace shops, and another covered area back there that we think is another seating area, larger one, just like this. Both of them have that same elliptical shape of the stage right there. It looks like there's a band just getting ready to play. I'm walking up and down like a roller coaster because look at this, it's a hillside just like in Toontown. So they had all that trouble with the hillside that they built in Toontown. So what do? Built a second one, downtown Disney. But I have to say, I really do like how the stage turned out. Permanent stage, permanent lighting, all of this seating. Look at those light towers. It's a pretty good stage. And all of the chairs, like places to sit and relax. Last call for Christmas, Mike.
Yep.
It ends on Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, we're holding a Mice Chat meetup in the central hub of Disneyland at noon. So right next to the Walt and Mickey statue at noon this Sunday. We're calling it Last Call for Christmas. So we'll do Haunted Mansion Holiday because it's also sort of last call for Haunted Mansion Holiday or Haunted Mansion anything for a little while, because at the end of the month, it'll close for a major refurbishment that we'll talk about when we get to that part of the park. So here's a look at the future. So where we were standing is right there. We were standing right there and looking at this building there. That's the Parkside Market. Monorail runs right behind it. And this little building right there is where Earl of Sandwich, I think, is going. Mike, if you don't mind taking a picture of that for me for the Monday update, I'll make sure that we get that in there so that everybody knows what we're talking about. And then over here, kind of a different view of the stage area that's already been built. And this is sort of a history of downtown Disney right over here. There's one other thing I needed to point out, but we're not going to walk all the way over. There's not much to see, but there's a green fence, and on the other side of that fence, there's a gigantic food truck or a food mobile unit, and we think that is exactly where Earl of Sandwich is going. They're going to kick them out of their current location. Again, they're kicking out Earl of Sandwich. Remember, Earl of Sandwich used to be on the west side next to the AMC Theater. They kicked them out because they were going to tear all of that down and build a hotel. Hotel fell through. Then they begged them to come back. Then they kicked them out again and tore that building down and moved them to where they are now, which is where the old La Brea Bakery used to be. Now they're kicking them out of where La Brea Bakery used to be, and they're going to tear that building down and build a Porto's, and they're going to move Earl of Sandwich into a food truck, and then they're going to build them a new building in the West Side Market area, Parkside Market area, and that'll be their 5th location.
I think they're already operating off of a reduced menu as it is right now, being in their temporary location.
They are. It's still a pretty big menu, though.
It is. I'm just wondering how much more it's going to reduce by moving the food truck.
Oh, they'll have to go down to a minimal menu for there.
Right.
Right now they have a sit-down dining location with all sorts of items. And we don't know if that will translate over to their new location when they finally build it, will they have a full service table, dining, and bar like they have now? Because from what I understand, they really like that extra revenue. That'll be a hard thing for them to give up.
Definitely popular.
Another thing that we're waiting to hear more on is Tortilla Joe's. The company that owns Tortilla Joe's, the Patina Group, they also own 2 restaurants up ahead that you might recognize, Catal and the Uva Bar, which have been sort of ripped out because they're putting in 2 new Mexican establishments, Paseo and Centrico, also owned by Patina. So if they have 2 restaurants up ahead, why would they want a big giant restaurant complex here? So we think that they will likely keep it as Patina owned, but likely change up the theme.
Probably be smart.
Yep. And there's Centrico right there. Centrico is as in the center of downtown Disney. It's also a round shaped bar, exactly like it was when it was Uva Bar, but they ripped everything out from where Uva Bar was. In fact, they took it all the way down to the dirt, and now they put in a new concrete slab, a circular bar, and then all of this covering. So there'll be plenty of shade up here when they're done.
More efficient than those low hanging umbrellas.
And then up ahead there, we see similar type of wooden slats as to here, going in up above at what used to be Patina and is now Paseo. Much expanded outdoor dining space. In fact, they've taken over this space above the Disneyland home store, and all of that space up into the side there is all going to be part of the new restaurant. They even took over 2 of the storefronts down below, including the Sprinkles Cupcake location. A lot of work has gone in here, Mike. This almost looks like it's about ready to open. Yeah, this is what it'll look like. Not much to it, right? It's an outdoor bar. The bar is being constructed right now. In fact, it's already in. They just haven't put the cladding on it. But then it's really just a case of putting the tables in, and I think these walls could come down fairly early in the year. They could at least open the bar portion. I don't know what they do about the restaurant portion, because it doesn't look like the restaurant is moving along all that quickly next door. It never had its own kitchen. It always shared a kitchen with the restaurant next door. But we will wait and see if they just open it as a bar with some snacks.
That would be smart. I mean,
just to get the walls down,
yeah,
for no other reason.
Quick sit down, serve place.
Suzanne, did you like what they did for the Christmas decorations here this year?
It was better than the fishbowl that one year where there were like neon glow trees.
Oh yeah, the glow trees, they lasted 1 year. But the sun is starting to go down, so all the lights are on. You can really see how it looks in downtown Disney. Kind of a last view, because next weekend, all of this will be gone. Downtown Disney seems to be one of the last areas they decorate, but also usually one of the last areas that they remove. Hotels get it last and removed first. It doesn't look too crowded here in downtown Disney. How have the parks been, Mike?
The parks were terrible. I mean, the curbs were definitely lined with people wanting to see the parades.
Oh, waiting for the parade.
Otherwise, waits were a little bit long so far. Like, I mean, we're talking 80 minutes for Rise, 80 minutes for Space Mountain. But the big rides had some extended wait time.
And it's been hard to get a park reservation, so the parks are technically sold out.
Right.
As we had a staff member that was going to join us on the live today, Scott Solo, and he was unable to get a park reservation. He tried all day long yesterday and this morning, and nothing available, so he's not here with us today. Natalie Kipper, if she were here with us, would tell you now's a time of great sales at the resort. A lot of Christmas items on sale, a lot of Disney 100 merchandise on sale. That's a lot of stuff. they got to make room because they need to get rid of all of these Christmas decorations and things and put in merchandise for the new year.
The 2024 merchandise has already been out for a few months.
It has. I'm not thrilled with it.
It doesn't look that great.
We'll see some of it as we go along for sure. In fact, here's a little bit in the window right here. Ask and ye shall receive. But just basic, you know, just Mickey in 2024. There's a couple of different designs. This is one design on 3 different patterned shirts.
Oh, there's a...
This whole section of World of Disney, we're right in the center here, is where they put the 2024 merch. It's a much smaller collection this year than it has been in years past. I am glad to see that. They're learning that just because they make a line of merchandise doesn't mean people will buy it. And when you put the year on something, you're really limiting how long you can sell it. So if it just says Disneyland Resort, you could sell it for years until it's all gone. But if it says 2024, you really have 1 year.
Right.
Can you all hear me? I think our microphone was off earlier. Somebody noticed that our mic was off, but I think it's back on now. I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah, it looks like it's back on.
Oh my gosh, I missed the whole first part of the video.
Start over again.
I'm starting over. But basically, you probably saw from our trip through downtown Disney, there was a lot of construction. There's a new Earl of Sandwich going in on the west side of downtown Disney. The crows are crowing at Disneyland. It's a little bit like that scene from The Wizard of Oz.
I'm waiting to see Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, they said they heard us the whole time.
Oh, great.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you heard.
It's amazing how quick that little Wish soundstage.
Oh, it came and went
down.
1 week.
Yeah.
I don't even know why they bothered putting it up. Eventually, Mike, you know, this whole area has to get redeveloped. They're pushing guests to buy their tickets online. Fewer and fewer people use these ticket booths. They have 8 booths. And in fact, I am just removing this because it's giving me repeated errors. So there we go. I just need to make sure you all can still hear me. We just removed the little connection to our microphones so that I stop getting errors on my phone. And we'll talk loud because there's now one microphone just on the camera itself.
I would think that they would probably only need 2 booths here. That's all they ever use, right, for the most part. And I think that even though the Esplanade is huge, this gets busy during fireworks around here.
It does, but there's also a lot of wasted space here. What I would love to see is for them to put a fountain in the center of the Esplanade there, add a lot of trees and a lot of seating. Think that new area they built at Epcot when you first enter, and they have that nice big plaza that they've just built with the Walt the Dreamer statue or whatever they call him.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it would be nice if this whole area, if they remove these ticket booths and they put some space in here for people to sit and relax, and they could possibly even sell some merchandise. Some of our friends are here. Hello, how are you?
Getting the update.
Yeah, are you watching us? Look, it's very meta. Here we are, folks. There we are. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys soon. Enjoy your trip. Bye-bye. It's so funny how often we run into people who are watching us while we're doing the live, and they're there in Disneyland saying, oh, I wonder what's happening at Disneyland. Look how many birds are in this tree. If you scare them, they'll poop on you.
I'm going to stay off under that tree.
Don't want to be under that tree. You're just one screaming baby away from a rude awakening. Happy New Year! Suzanne is going to get me into the park.
Hi. How's it going?
Look how pretty. The sun is setting. The sky
All right,
is
come on in,
blue. Blue, blue, blue. Birds, Mickey. They really didn't do a lot with the floral display this year for the holidays. They just changed the swoopy patterns to red and white. Mickey didn't get his Halloween overlay this year. They left his colors, the normal colors, on his body. Are we all in now?
Still see they got lots of bulbs out on the station.
They do, but it looks like they also replaced a lot.
They did some of them, yeah.
So I think what's happening now is they've replaced some of the bulbs that we were complaining about earlier, and then it rained a lot, and we had more bulbs burn out.
Yep.
Hot bulbs, cold rain causes bulbs to burn out. That or water seeping in.
So the parade is going right now.
Lucky us.
Lucky us.
We have made a rookie mistake. Because the parade is now starting at 6 p.m. instead of 6:30. 5. That's right. A Christmas fantasy. On this Christmas fantasy. Love it or hate it, folks? Let us know. Most folks love it because they're nostalgic about the parade. They like seeing Santa, the reindeer, and the snowman and all that. But they've always been part of Disneyland's Christmas parades, even before this version. So what if they updated the parade with new floats and new music, but brought back your toy soldiers and your gingerbread men and the things you loved about it? Me too. Will they let us go this way? They have the overflow route up, but can't use it. Again, there's a lot of yelling going on. This is the new way cast members help do crowd control. Unfortunately, because the parade is so loud, we can't hear them yelling at us.
My goodness, said it better myself. This is my gingerbread house. It looks too good.
Parade moves so slowly that we are walking faster than the parade, even on these busy walkways. I'm just trying to move fast and get us down the street so we can be out of the noise and the hustle and the bustle and see what the rest of the park looks like. Short music loop. Short music loop. Lots of joy and madness. Mike's behind me singing, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. It is pretty at Christmas time, but Christmas is over. The New Year is over, and we're still celebrating Christmas. So I am ready for a change. I'm ready for all of this to come down. I'm ready for the tree to come down, to hear the regular park music loop, and just see what Disneyland looks like without a 100th anniversary celebration decor, without Christmas decor. We'll get just a little bit of time before they start celebrating Pixar Fest and change it all up again. So we're gonna get just a little bit of time to see Disneyland the way Walt meant it to look.
Yep.
Thank you.
Here we go. Of course, is Anna and Elsa on the old ice skating float. They do not ice skate on it. Mickey and Minnie used to ice skate on it years ago, and then sometimes it would be Chip and Dale ice skating or Donald and Daisy. They changed it up a lot over the years. The parade has had a lot of little tweaks and fixes. The Jolly Holiday sign has been fixed.
That's good.
They really do see comments online from us and others, and they do fix things. But they also have staff members that report things. So Mike knows better than I do. When something gets reported as broken, it goes into a maintenance request thing, and then how do they decide what to work in what order? Is it just the order it comes in, or the order of importance, or do managers make the decision? How do they decide?
I think it partly comes from what materials they have on hand. If they have to order something, how broken is it? Is it going to interfere with the guest experience? Do we need to fix it like right away? I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things they decide for importance of these projects.
And light bulbs wouldn't be considered important because they're just purely decorative and cosmetic. So they would be inclined to want to fix things that would impact guest experience a little bit more. But when they get a lot of complaints about something, like people are posting pictures of burnout light bulbs, they probably
it becomes important.
Yes, they change the importance of that.
Well, and also part of it too is they do all the preventative maintenance first. And then they go and then they'll look at what needs to be fixed after they do the preventative maintenance. So some of it really is staffing. However, light bulbs are, I mean, if they're easy to access, they're easy to change.
Turtle Walker just sent us a little bit of love on YouTube, and we really appreciate it. For those of you who don't know, we broadcast live at the same time on both Facebook and YouTube. So you can always find us on both, or usually if there's not some sort of technical issue, which do happen from time to time. We use a lot of different equipment, and it's easy for mistakes to happen.
Oh yeah.
We'll just say I'm not very technical.
Well,
I still wake up in the morning and talk to my remote control. Remote, turn on the television. And then Alexa will say something like, I'm sorry, but remote doesn't support that. And then I have to figure it all out for myself. Oh, life is too difficult. 60-minute wait? 60-minute wait.
Yeah, 60 minutes. About average.
Ando, we're glad to see you watching along.
Hi, Ando.
Yes, we just talked about it. We really appreciate the love. Beautiful tree house. All right, we're gonna go up and over because it gives us a good view of how busy the park looks. Now there's nobody in the switchback line for Pirates. That could mean two things. Either it's not too busy in Pirates, or it's broken, but it's not broken. There's still people in the inner queue.
Pirates is about 20-minute wait right now from what we're seeing.
So they claim this is 20 minutes. It's really not. Probably 20 minutes at all. That's what it looks like.
These lines move so fast on this one.
Oh, this is such a high capacity attraction.
Yeah.
It's too bad they don't prioritize capacity when they're designing new attractions. Over the years, Disney has built newer rides that have lower and lower. Sally!
Happy holidays to you.
Christine is doing what so many people do. She's watching us on the freeway as she's driving. So listen to us, Christine. Don't watch. Again, we know that. No, I need to do that. I'll go walk to the front so I can do that. Some really weird and unfortunate news. Juno are going to take Haunted Mansion down at the end of this month for a many months long refurbishment that will include the building of a new shop at the exit, a new queue on the side nearest Tiana's palace, and a new ADA accessible elevator to make it easier for guests with disabilities to get in and out of the ride. But when that happens, they're going to have two gigantic attractions on that side of the park down. So Splash Mountain is gone until it becomes Tiana's Bayou Adventure at the end of the year, and Haunted Mansion may not be back until fall or even later.
Yeah.
So this attraction is going to be absolutely slammed, which means the lines are going to get longer and longer. So what are they going to do to make that worse, Mike?
Lightning Lane.
They're going to add Lightning Lane to Pirates of the Caribbean. They have 3 times now over its history had either Fast Pass or tried to do Lightning Lane on this attraction. The first time they did it as a test, and it absolutely clogged up all of New Orleans Square and made it a disaster. So they had to pull it out eventually after much complaining from the fans. And then they tried to add Fast Pass to it some years ago, and when we saw those sticks go in, we started screaming, and then they removed them before they ever started using them. Then they thought about doing it again for Lightning Lane, and again, we had to remind everybody it absolutely ruins the park experience for guests. It's a high capacity attraction. Don't add Lightning Lane. The lines get long enough as it is, but they're going to do it anyway.
I was going to say, I think they're probably
So we are going to be here to scream and yell and complain if New Orleans Square becomes a complete and total gridlock, as it very well easily could. Then all of us need to scream that these are things that people who have worked in the park forever know don't work. But the budget crunchers and the people that make money off of Genie said, but if you remove 2 attractions from the Lightning Lane roster, people won't want to buy Lightning Lane, so we have to give them something. So let's give them Pirates. Yikes. Wrong reasons to add Lightning Lane. They should add Lightning Lane only to the attractions that need it and can support it, but not the ones that would negatively impact the park experience. You see all those switchbacks there? Imagine them filled with people. Imagine them trying to add Lightning Lane, for example, to Peter Pan. You wouldn't be able to walk through Fantasyland. It would absolutely destroy the park experience. So Lightning Lane has a huge impact. Yes, the parks make a lot of money on it. Yes, it helps get on the ride faster, but it only helps you get on the ride faster. All the people that don't have Genie, it makes their experience much worse. And it makes the experience of walking through the parks difficult at times. Another attraction that has Lightning Lane that doesn't need it is Haunted Mansion. And you can see these people are backed up over in here. They're not in Magnolia Gardens, which is soon to go away. Mansion has had a lot of downtime this holiday season. Every time it goes down, it really... I bet they are. A lot of people standing around waiting, looking at the mansion. So, is there a lighting moment? What happens? A scary voice happens. Scarier than the one that everyone's listening to right now. Good evening, my friends, and welcome to the Haunted Mansion. There it is, the Haunted Mansion, and soon it will be no different than this, because I think they're going to just leave the Halloween decor up, at least on the inside. They may remove some of it from the outside, but by the time it reopens, it will be Haunted Mansion holiday time again. So we don't think they're going to bother removing all of the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, except we do know they're planning on doing a big refurbishment of some of the moving props and figures inside. So they, of course, will go off to the shop, get a full reworking, repainted, new lighting inside. Most of the ride is black light, of course. I see work lights on up ahead, Mike, so perhaps we'll be able to see a little something.
Possibly. You
can buy yourself a sweater.
Looks like they made some progress on it. But there's really not much to notice right now, especially in the dark.
There's not a lot to see.
No.
However, over in Florida, there's been a lot of progress. I'm just going to mention it while we're looking at this one. I'm going to zoom in so you can get a little better view. There we go. So ours has just been basically shaved down to a round hill. You can see the light from inside right there. At the center of the screen is the inside portion before you drop. In Florida, the entire outside of the mountain is covered now in foliage, tropical looking foliage. Also, they have the water tower out front over in this area right here. And they've just installed a new weather vane. It was done by a local artisan who creates ironwork there in New Orleans. And we will get all of those same things, same water tower, same weather vane, and we'll share all of that with you on Monday so you know what it all looks like. Zooming back out.
Or maybe be this way.
I have noticed that now when they're talking about the attraction, they're minimizing mentions of Tiana's foods and employee owned and all of that. So they're starting to get the message that people are confused. I would like to see them replace this signage on the outside of the construction walls soon and put in concept art instead. Because start sharing images from the attraction that's coming to get people excited and remove things that are confusing to guests like Tiana's Foods, which just make people think that they're building a shop or perhaps a restaurant.
On the signs, I think.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And they spent money on those signs. Those are made out of tin and they're pressed and
Oh yeah, there's not a cheap sign.
No, they're not. See the work light up there, Mike?
Yep. I can see like a welding mat up there. That red. So they can weld during the day and not blind people.
The fun of construction.
I said you go on vacation, you guys not do
It is really impressive that the ride went down in spring. They're this far along already, and that it will be ready by late fall, early winter here at Disneyland. So really, as far as construction timelines go, it won't have been down as long as other attractions that they have built in the past have taken.
Like a treehouse.
Part of that is because they announced this attraction way back, I believe it was 2020, and they've been working behind the scenes and building things so that they could just install it. As they're building things, they're building everything in duplicate. So one set for Florida, one set for Anaheim. So even though we closed down far earlier than in Florida and are quite a ways behind the Florida version, it won't be as hard for them to build our version because almost everything has already been produced, just has to be installed.
And they're also going to have experience in installing it, so the efficiency of the work they do is probably going to be a little bit better too.
Any of the problems they had in Florida, they can work out for our version. So our version will be a little more stable, hopefully, a little fewer problems. But as with all new Disney attractions, there will be downtime.
There will be problems.
There will be downtime. Look at Rise of the Resistance and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, always down. So even though they're Lightning Lane attractions that people pay for, a lot of long downtimes, and that creates operational nightmares and problems for guests figuring out how they can use a lightning lane for an attraction that's not operating, and lots of running back and forth. I was with some people the other day from out of town, good friends of mine. They had lightning lanes for Rise of the Resistance, which was down when they were at Disneyland. They were over in California Adventure, and the kids said, "Mom, Rise of the Resistance is up, we have to run." And they ran all the way from California Adventure back to Disneyland. Of course, the line for Rise was insane, even for Lightning Lane, because it had been down for hours, and they waited almost an hour to ride Rise of the Resistance.
And that was in Lightning Lane,
with the Lightning Lane.
Yeah. Well, the queues extend out.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Right,
but again, this is a touristy season. Now, pass holders, some of them are unblocked again. So if you've got the top tier pass, you can come to the parks again. We came that first day, I think it was the 3rd, that the passes were available. Suzanne was with me, and it wasn't that crowded at all. So we thought the park would be flooded with pass holders, and it wasn't.
I know there's schools that are starting back this week too. And there's also some schools that still have another 10 days to go back to school.
I've long since stopped trying to figure out school schedules. 85, does that say 85 minutes? 85 minute standby. 60 to 90 minutes is kind of the standard for this attraction. If it's less than 60 minutes, get in the standby. It's about as good as you can hope for. There are certainly times when it'll drop down to 30 minutes. another random person searching around. That other guy's not a Star Wars character at all. That was just a Disney employee with a name badge on.
That's his. That's Ray's person that follows her around.
Ray has people now. She says, if you want to meet with Ray, she says, have your people talk to my people. She's been in LA too long. So there is some stuff coming up, Suzanne, here in Star Wars Land. Star Wars Land and Tomorrowland, we're getting Star Wars Season of the Force.
Starting April 5th.
So April through May, 2 months.
Through June 2nd, actually.
Wow. So really 2 full months of a Star Wars celebration. They here in Galaxy's Edge will likely have maybe some new merchandise and food, but the really big thing is going to be they're going to play music in the land that's Star Wars appropriate during fireworks.
Yes.
So not special Star Wars fireworks. It's still going to be whatever the fireworks show is at Disneyland, but the music will be Star Wars themed.
That is correct.
What I don't understand is why don't they do that every night anyway?
Yes, I think they've done it in the past for maybe New Year's Eve.
Yep.
But that's
It just
about
makes sense that if something is happening, you might explain it to guests that are in the land to make it feel appropriate to this fake timeline that they've created by playing music and saying it's a nightly celebration. But we're excited to see it anyway. The really big thing is what's going to happen in Tomorrowland, and that, of course, be the return of Hyperspace Mountain. We're not going to go through the marketplace this time. We did that last week. So we'll go down the side here. Who knows? We might run into a character. This pathway seems to have characters from Mandalorian and Boba Fett. Every once in a while, you see a little baby Yoda here, a little Groot. I really like it. I think he was my favorite thing of the last year in this land is the little animatronic baby Groot carried around by Mando.
I would call that a little bit more immersive. Grogu, yeah, a little bit more immersive with the animatronic with it. And then there's always, of course, Kylo Ren walking around.
So it's really funny because I heard Suzanne behind me saying his name is Grogu. So here's the thing. I was just watching a show on TV about Disney's 100th celebration. It was put together by Disney. And when they got to the segment about Grogu, every single person on television called him Baby Yoda. So Disney themselves knows what his appeal is.
Oh, yeah. What people playing that game?
Yeah, there's a few people playing. That was also new last year, that game in Galaxy's Edge. Very exciting to play once. You know, that's really something. Andy Castro put together an amazing year in review article. We didn't even mention magic bands or that game. There were so many things that happened over the course of the year. But it was a big deal. Disney added those magic bands to every store. They really were pushing them hard, but guests really for the most part aren't wearing them here. You need them in Florida. You don't really need them here. I think once they start opening hotel rooms and you can pay with them and some of those other features, they'll be a little more worth it. The other problem is the battery life is horrible.
Yeah. I'm a little bit surprised that they're not using them for payment sources or any of that stuff yet.
Especially since they have been doing so in Florida for so long, and they share a lot of the same infrastructure here in Florida, so it should have been something they were able to do. They upgraded the door locks on most of the rooms at the Disney hotels to be able to accommodate it. They also have now the Tappy terminals at all the registers in the resort, so you can pay with your RFID-enabled credit card. So you should be able to pay also with the magic bands. It's just a matter of time.
It should be just a matter of turning it on. Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're exiting a galaxy far, far away to go to a beautiful old Western trail, not very far away. You know, a lot of people at first said it's so awkward to have Star Wars Galaxy's Edge next to Frontierland, but Star Wars is a space western.
It is.
And of course, we're exiting from one western into another. Music. You wouldn't necessarily know it was Star Wars music, but it's
No.
music and it's nice to hear. So is everybody's New Year's off to a good start? You know, so many people were saying, oh, I'm just ready for 2023 to end and it be a new year. But the turn of a clock doesn't really change things.
No.
We have to make our own New Year special. So how is your New Year starting? What are you doing to make 2024 your best year ever? What would you like to see Disney do to make this the best year ever for Disneyland? For me, I would like to see them address the Tomorrowland situation, work on the maintenance of the attractions so they're not always broken, and then they need to announce for us what they're doing with Disneyland Forward on the far western end of the resort. What's that third park going to look like? It's time.
That would be great to see.
I think
something
this
like that.
may be the year, and D23 Expo will likely be the time that we hear about both of those projects, Tomorrowland and Disneyland Forward. We're also waiting patiently to hear more about the Avatar experience coming to the Disneyland Resort, which we believe will be a little mini land.
One of those usual pinch points, and it's not terrible
No,
right now.
I mean, you see a lot of people here in front of us, but we're walking at a normal speed, and
Yeah.
the pathway keeps moving. The worst is, you know, just a few people can walk on each side. So if somebody stops with a stroller, boom, everybody has to stop. So you just have to pray that the people in front of you realize that they're in a tight walkway.
Yeah.
You can't always assume that they will. It's really shocking how often tourists are completely oblivious to their surroundings. But as a local who's here all the time, I also recognize that a tourist just reacts differently. Like they get to a fork in the road and they think, oh, which direction do we need to go? And they stop and they look for their app or their map and they stop.
Right.
So it's really not their fault. They're confused. The park doesn't have any signage here pointing them, you know, which attractions are in which direction.
Which is funny because I know there's a theme park that does do that. Magic Mountain has signage all over the place, but they're not really, I don't think they know the quality or the caliber of a theme park.
It's not really a themed park.
It's just it's a thrill.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster park.
Yeah.
But interesting to note, since you brought it up, Six Flags, that owns Magic Mountain and so many roller coaster parks across the country, recently merged with Cedar Fair, that owns Knott's Berry Farm and Cedar Point and Worlds of Fun in Kansas City. I grew up. And we're not quite sure yet what's going to happen. Will the parks be kind of raised up to the Cedar Fair level or kind of lowered down to the Six Flags level? Cedar Fair did get 1 percentage point more ownership than Six Flags. So technically, by 1%, it's not a merger of equals, but a merger of Cedar Fair having slightly more authority. The board is split perfectly between the two. We're kind of waiting to see what will occur. It could be good news for Knott's in the long run. Knott's makes the most money of any of the parks in the chain, so either Six Flags or Cedar Fair. I was talking to John Sorbeck, the president of Knott's Berry Farm. I'm not sure if that's the actual title he uses or VP or what, but he runs Knott's Berry Farm. Used to work in a senior executive level here at Disneyland. Look how pretty this is. Last call for Small World. Be going down soon to turn over into regular Small World.
Yeah.
Dropping all of the holiday lights. Because Small World is such a simple attraction, it's just flats with lighting and music. It's not a lot of really high complexity to it. That overlay is sort of a simple thing that adds a lot of depth to it. So what else might they add to Small World from time to time as an overlay that would make it kind of fun for a special celebration?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, Small World. Techno, Small World.
I could see them taking a little Alice in Wonderland figure and turning it into Princess Leia or something.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to add Star Wars or Marvel to that attraction. And I hope they don't listen to this and that they never do that.
Right.
Because somebody's going to hear that and say, oh my gosh, what a great idea.
We don't want that.
No, we don't want that. If they wanted to make a kiddie-style dark ride themed to Star Wars, I'd be fine with that.
Right.
In fact, for the longest time, I thought that they should have old spaceship parts and have a spinner ride, not unlike Dumbo, in the land, because it doesn't take up much space. Because just the ambiance of having something spinning around and kids laughing, and you know, it would be fun.
Oh yeah.
It could even be more than one level, you know, to add capacity to it, but have spaceships, you know, old burned out or broken or crashed spaceships that spin around for kids to
And
ride.
you know, if they didn't go through the whole timeline thing with Star Wars Land, that'd be something cool. You know, maybe after like the young Anakin built it or something.
Exactly. Or Rey, you know, she's a tinkerer.
Right, Ray, yeah.
Anakin built robots, and Rey was out there in the desert scavenging parts. So definitely the two of them could have put together this contraption. My beautiful Matterhorn Way, Sub Lagoon, which we talked about a lot last week. Waterfall is going. We are having a wind advisory here in Orange County right now, so they're expecting high winds to pop up.
And very cold.
There's also a surf advisory. Nighttime views are so lovely. A few things that we know are going to be returning for the new year. So we do know that Magic Happens will be coming back. We learned today that World of Color 1 will be returning this month. So after a short refurbishment of the World of Color platform, they will be bringing back World of Color 1. So not the original version, but instead the 100th anniversary version. We'll also, for a short period of time, have Mickey's Mixed Magic back at Disneyland for fireworks just after the holiday season ends. And then we will have back the 100th anniversary fireworks.
I'm kind of disappointed of bringing back Mixed Magic.
I would rather they just bring back Wondrous Journeys, but
Right.
it's considered the off season, and the reason that they created Mixed Magic to begin with is that it's a projection show first,
Right.
that they can add fireworks to on the weekends, and it's not a very expensive show for them to run. Wondrous Journeys is a little longer, costs them a little bit more money, but it's also a great projection show that works well without fireworks. So I do wish that they would have just made Wondrous Journeys the new default show, and then when the Pixar show comes back, they could, you know, pause Wondrous Journeys for a little while and bring Wondrous Journeys back after the Pixar show. So we don't know what's going to happen after the Pixar one, which is, but what's it called? Something Together, Together Forever.
They're adding scenes from the previous version.
Yeah, they have the old show that you remember with some new scenes. So one of the scenes we know will be coming is something themed to Turning Red. Turning Red is, I think, also coming to the theaters. There are 3 Pixar movies that they're going to be putting into the theaters over the next few months. What's the Italian one with the 2 little boys?
Oh,
Luca.
Luca.
I would like to see that on the big screen.
Yeah.
Beautiful film. I think Turning Red was one, and what's the other one? Soul. Yep, Soul will be the first one. Also a great film, really beautiful film, great music, heartwarming, but also about death.
You know, yeah.
Now, Pixar's not afraid to cover those subjects.
I think bringing those movies into the theaters after they've already been out is definitely a different strategy.
Well, you can tell there's a Bob Iger trying to right some of the wrongs of Bob Chapek, but it's also a little too late. You know, these are not new movies. A lot of people have already seen them on Disney Plus, and they're not removing them from Disney Plus, so you can still watch them on Disney Plus for no additional fee. Taking a quick pano here because we're in kind of this Neverland here. We have this giant closed attraction back here. Used to be the Carousel of Progress, and then it was Innoventions, and then it was eventually the Star Wars launch bay. But now it's just sort of a space that they use for the dessert party up there on the second floor. There's a lounge in there for DVC members, but it's really a tremendous amount of space for a lot of nothing. Alien Pizza Planet offers some of the worst food at the resort. Space Mountain is a marvel, but could use some new technology. And then there's the second floor of the Starcade, which is completely unused except for as queue space for Space Mountain. The abandoned theater, Magic Eye Theater, where they did Honey, I Shrunk the Audience and Captain EO. I think Buzz Lightyear is due for some exciting technology enhancements. When you're in there and you're shooting at things, it's all the little red laser dots and you can't even tell which dot is yours. They really do need to do new lasers so you know what you're shooting. And Star Tours is getting new destinations this year. So really feels like Tomorrowland needs to get that injection of excitement, a Tron roller coaster or something, and they need to announce it soon because everybody's complaining about Tomorrowland. There's just a lot of dead space here. People want to know what they're doing. Even if they say, you know, we're not ready to announce what, but we'd like you to know that we are actively working on a new Tomorrowland. At least it would give people hope.
I think people who are coming here, especially the regulars, definitely need that hope for this land because, I mean, as busy as it is right now, there's just, I mean, you don't have much to go on.
There are still some of the most popular attractions of the resort here. Star Tours is still popular. Buzz Lightyear is still popular. Space Mountain is very popular.
It is.
The submarine voyage is, I wouldn't say it's necessarily popular, but it's beautiful. And then there's Autopia. So there's a lot of iconic attractions in this land. So even though we all complain that Tomorrowland is broken, it needs to be fixed, and it does.
Right.
There are a lot of things here that do work, and it's one of the reasons why the park has been so reluctant to make big changes when they don't have their final budgets and things. So rather than just putting in quick fixes, they're waiting to do the bigger project. $60 billion that Parks and Resorts has to spend over the next decade. Some of that money will happen here at Disneyland. So the new land will be, if it's seen as an expansion, could be part of that. Definitely Disneyland Forward. And then there's another entertainment zone that always gets missed by people, but they're building a whole other entertainment zone at the resort beyond the third park.
Yeah.
That's over in the Toy Story lot, and that will have shops and restaurants and hotel space and is going to be easily accessible by convention center visitors. So we're walking by these walls here. People have got to be wondering. I'm pulling off to the side so I can point at the beautiful Astro Orbiter. Wait, the Astro Orbiter. What? The Astro missing, Mike.
It's gone.
Astro Orbiter. Somebody broke in last night and they stole the Astro Orbiter. Hopefully they have security cameras to find out who did that.
The Grinch.
The Grinch did it. No, it couldn't be the Grinch. It had to have been Santa. I love this view without the Astro Orbiter. But it is coming back, folks. They're just doing a full refurbishment. You can see the lighting over here is still there. That was been one of the easiest things for them to remove, and we did hear from somebody working on the project. It's coming back. They're just... Are you watching along?
Watching live every Friday.
Oh my God. So they're here and watching us, folks. We were just talking about people like you at the beginning of the video. We love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, enjoy. This is a gorgeous night for being at Disneyland. Last look at Christmas. I'm pointing up like there's Christmas here. There's no Christmas. There's no Christmas here. But it is sort of like Christmas that they've removed the Astro Orbiter. Gone. Poof. Where could it go? Could they put it up on the top of the People Mover platform? Not yet, but eventually I would like to see that happen.
That would be awesome.
Thank you for watching us. I appreciate it. Take care. Happy New Year.
think that would be amazing for them to put the rockets back up.
Oh,
on
they
top of the
definitely.
people.
If the rockets come back in the future,
Right.
that's where they need to be. You know, why put a rocket on the ground? Put it
Right.
up high. Put it up high. Give it some height.
I have memories.
Scare the wits out of those kids.
As a child of riding those rockets up on top of the people mover and watching the fireworks.
Well, thank you, Christy. Christy sent some big love to us. We appreciate that. We're sending smooches and hugs and thanks back to you. Mike, do you think the pathway here at the side of the castle is open?
It might be open, but it's probably packed.
Well, good. I'm never afraid of a little packed walkway. We're getting close to the end of our video, but I do want to get over in here to look at the castle one last time, because this will be the last view of the castle with all the holiday lights. And Mike, the parks did something miraculous this year. The lights on the castle and on the tree stayed lit for the entire season. For the most part, they didn't have any troubles.
They did. 'Cause I remember the last 2 years before this, the Christmas tree was always 2/3 lit.
And the icicles would go out, or light sickles.
Yeah.
Look at this beautiful sight. This is it. This is a perfect way to end Christmas, is just looking at this stunning view. Our fountain for Disney 100 that I hope will be remaining. Beautiful lights. You see how the lights kind of glow in and out like snowdrift?
Yeah.
Oh, we have princesses. So many princesses. It's Princess Palooza.
We'll see you once upon a dream.
She'll see us once upon a dream, she said. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. We have the lights. We have princesses. We have Mike. We have Suzanne.
We have ducks.
We have ducks. Was that an evil queen? Oh my gosh, how did I miss her? Oh my gosh. There's so much excitement going on. What is happening? Where did they come from? Where are they going? So your last call for your Christmas selfie at Disneyland will be this Sunday. And again, for those of you who may have missed it at the beginning of the video,
Okay over here?
we're doing a Mice Chat meetup Sunday at noon at the Walt and Mickey statue right there in the central hub of Disneyland. We meet up for about half an hour, then we go get something to eat, then we ride a couple of attractions, and then I wander off and let people kind of hang out together if they'd like to, or not, if they would like to go off and do their own thing. We have to get out of this space because this whole entire castle courtyard right now is just for photos, apparently. So lines and lines of people, and I was just walking in their photo. There are bound to be photos of me now on the internet with horrible memes attached to them.
It's kind of hard to notice there's so many people here.
Well, it's nighttime, you don't know what's going on. But certainly didn't intend to do that. Cast member made me feel bad and now I'm crying. I'm crying, Mike.
Don't cry.
Okay, I won't.
Okay, good.
Side view, just almost as pretty, even with that tower in the way. Well, folks, Happy New Year to all of you. I hope that 2024 is a fantastic year for you and for the Disneyland Resort. We do ask for your help this year. If you enjoy these videos, please do us the favor of liking and sharing and commenting. It's how the social media networks know that it's interesting and that they should share it with other people. So when you're liking and sharing and commenting, it makes Facebook and YouTube think, we need to share that with other people. And if you'll do that for us, we'll keep doing this for you every Friday. Now, next Friday, I am going to be in Kansas with my 101-year-old grandmother. Can you believe it? She's even feistier than I am. It's true. I might learn a few things from her while I'm there. I'll bring those back to the video. So I believe we're going to have Suzanne and maybe Scott Zeman with us next week. And we are going to do our level best to be live for you on Friday. Maybe I'll even jump in from Kansas. Maybe someplace special. There are some special lights in Kansas City I would love to show you. So depending on how we work it out, I might still be able to be with you next Friday at 5. Take care, everyone. Happy holidays.